and gentlemen, what's going on? It is I, your one, the only, the king himself, bringing it to you live with your dude. And today, we are about to have a little bit of fun. What the? Well, I will say that's quite a surprise now, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? Ain't that just a little surprise? That being said, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you're all having ourselves a beautiful day indeed. So, what's up, everybody? To start with, how's everyone doing? How's everyone that's tuning in doing? Hopefully you're all doing great. I'm saying it weirdly, right? But, seriously though, how are we doing this evening? You see, before going live this evening, I did a lot of looking into some things, and something struck me as odd, you know? And that's the fact that, well, there's a lot of places on the internet where you don't get to be too vocal about things or be heard by the streamer in a loud way. But my friend, I'm here to tell you and celebrate. Oh, let me try to get that spread out better. I'm here, number one, because I want to make this look pretty, but number two, to let you know that we do have a special TTS setup. There we go, look at that. We do have a special TTS thing set up where you guys will be verbally heard using a robotic AI voice. That link to utilize this special thing is set up and will be shared in our chats and will be featured in the YouTube description. That being said, we hope that you guys enjoy tonight's show, just like every one of them, as we kind of prep ourselves for a very chilled back and relaxed kind of night. So join me, because in today's show, we're going to have some fun. So to start with, we should talk about probably, I guess let's take a moment to show some respect, okay? Let's show some respect to where it's due, okay? Let me make sure I ain't jumping the gun here in my schedule points. No, we are totally fine here. But look, I want to pay some respect to James Carter Cathcart. You know, for those of you who don't know who James is, he was the voice actor for Meowth and a plethora of characters over on Pokemon, especially back in the day. He did Muck's voice, he's done Tracy's, he did Kurt's voice as well. And he recently has passed away, so I'd like to take a moment to just kind of show some respect to someone that's kind of inspired a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? Inspired a lot of people. So, well, thank you, James, for giving my childhood a heck of a voice to listen to. And, well, to help us kind of get into today's show, I want to do a little dedication piece to him and start this show off instead of a typical hello, but with something special. So, ladies and gentlemen, in today's show, to prepare the world for the boredom and tears of devastation, to unite all peoples under one internet banner of nations, to denounce the evils of truth and love, to extend the reach to the stars above, it is I, your boy, Chris, aka Fatty, here to bring you nothing but good times and good vibes. So come cheer along with me tonight as we raise them vibes. Meow, that's right. My friends, tonight's gonna be a fun one. Tonight's gonna be a damn good one. And I wanted to start it out right. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, here we go. First off, okay? First thing I want to do here is we're going to get something going, okay? Now, as you guys know, I'm not usually the type for wars. But lately, my little cowboy thinker has been glowing and blinking, and it's telling me, homie, it's time for a little flame war. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching on YouTube, post a normal fire emoji. If you're watching on Twitch, post a purple fire emoji. And let's see who gets the most emojis throughout the stream. Ladies and gentlemen, let's see you burn this bitch down, shall we? Oh, and by the way, for those of you wondering, does he even know which side we're on? Oh, I do. I got a special program that tells me. So, ladies and gentlemen, post them flames away. Let's continue, okay? Let's continue onward, though. Let me ask you guys, okay? Let me ask you guys something special here, okay? Do you guys remember back in the day when I used to really be into Star Wars? And I'm talking heavily into it, right? And we remember the days when I would make my weird Star Wars fan films and all that fun jazz. Well, I'd like to ask you guys something, okay? Is that something you would like to see more time invested into on the channel? Because I'm going to be honest, right? Earlier today, I had an interesting moment, right? I was watching some Moist Critical, as I do during my afternoons, during my afternoons, I like to watch a little Moist Critical, kill some time. And, by the way, side note here, right? By the way, side note, you guys like my hat? You like my hat here? This is like my little training wheel Stetson in a way, right? Because eventually, after I get all this motherfucking weight lost, I want to get a good pair of cowboy boots, and I want to get a nice Stetson, man. I want to get a good everyday Stetson, cowboy boots, a nice dress jacket, or like a nice fucking suit jacket, nice tie, Where's my tie? Oh, there it is. Where's my tie? Polka dots, polka dots. That being said, y'all like the hat? I hope so. That being said, but I was watching some Moist Critical, like I was saying, and it was covering that new Andor show, right? Or not the new one, I guess the new season of it. And I'm going to be honest, because of what he said, I'm likely going to try and binge a bunch of episodes tonight somehow. Because based on how he reacted to it, it actually sounds like Disney made a good Star Wars show. Or at least they licensed it to Netflix, and Netflix put on a good show. But I'm going to be honest, right? Moist Critical's the kind of guy where our movie tastes kind of connect, right? Whenever he says the film's pretty good, I go, I shut up, I enjoy it. And typically, I enjoy it like he says, right? So I'm going to be, like, bluntly honest, right? I'm probably going to find a way to watch these tonight. And hopefully, finally fall in love with Star Wars again. Because from the sounds of it, it is a horror-based Star Wars series, and I am all fucking for Star Wars horror. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. Hell hath not known no pain like the slow, painful, agonizing death of the Sarlacc. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind you that currently there's a war going on. A war on this here internet to decide who's the stronger of the audiences. Who's the more verbal. You see, not only do we have an active TTS, super cheap to use and easy, but we're currently running a war where, depending on where you watch, you're going to be posting in the chat a flame emoji color appropriate for where you're watching. So if you're watching on YouTube, the classic orange or red fire, and if you're watching on Twitch, the purple fire flame emoji is all we're gonna bloody need, okay? That's all we bloody need. So, let's see them fiery emojis. Burn this bitch to the ground. I mean it. Okay? I mean it. God damn. Sometimes you gotta clear your throat out. You know what I'm talking about? Know what I'm talking about, baby. Another thing that I want to talk about is, I'm trying to look up new dishes as of lately, right? Stuff to learn to cook that might be interesting to show you guys, right? And this one dish that I'm trying to... I want to get the process down right before I even attempt it, right? But I want to make a cheese stuffed crust deep dish homemade pizza. You heard that right. I want a taste of home. That Detroit style, baby. We talking straight from the 8 Mile and Lavara type style, you know? We talking call your bitch up from Post Edition in Battle Creek and have her meet you in the homies in Detroit type of style.
Crunch has just tipped $5 through Super Chat. Hell yeah, doing a talk show now, love to see it, man, keep it up. Would love to see you on Kick as well, much better than Twitch.
Hell yeah, much love, man, much love. We're glad you're enjoying the show. That being said, as for Kick, we are, we're working towards something, you know. We're working towards something. We're not going to expose all too much, right? We're not going to say too much, but we will say this much, that there are some plans in the work to eventually, bring it over. That being said, though, God, what were we just talking about a moment ago? I lost my train of thought for a moment. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, a thought that just kind of crossed my mind randomly. And I want to ask you guys, and there's two different things, right? Number one, something I'd like to state is that life is crazy, right? And you want to learn to make new things. And something I've never made before is like a quiche, right? I've never made a quiche. I've never made a quiche. I've never made fancy weird shit like that, like quinoa or guacamole or whatever the fuck, right? I've never taken the time to make that. And it's mainly because, like, I have a general rule, right? If I can't pronounce the dish, I cannot eat it, right? And so there's a lot of dishes that I know that I could actually fucking eat, you know what I'm saying? There's fugu, there's fucking other stuff too. By the way, I do want to ask this, right? And speaking of quiche, right? Speaking of quiche and quinoa and all that, how the fuck do you spell quiche? I've always wondered that, right? I've always thought it was like Quesh, something like that. That's what it fucking sounds like, right? That's what it fucking sounds. That's how I spell shit, all right? I spell it as I sounds it. The fuck, like, I gotta be honest, right? Who the hell decided the English spelling for words? Who is the fucking idiot who decided, hey, must be the spelling? I'm gonna sit there and fuck up the spelling and I'm gonna make it impossible to spell certain words that should not be this hard. Hey, must be the spelling. Hey, we wanna do it, bada bee, bada boo, bada 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 bee, bada bee, bada boo, bee, bada. Hey, must be the weirdness. But yeah, quiche, man. What the fuck is quiche anyhow? I'm about to look this up. I'm about to ask Siri this real quick. Siri, what the fuck is quiche? One moment. Okay, she said 1 moment. I don't know. She literally said, I don't know how to respond. What the fuck is quiche? Siri doesn't even know how to respond to what the fuck is quiche. What is quinoa? It knows what quinoa is. What are hot dogs made of? And apparently it knows what hot dogs are made of, but it doesn't know what a quiche is. By the way, Twitch, man, y'all gotta step up your game, man. Your fire is small and puny. If you were a charmander, you'd be a puny little charmander on the beach, trying to lift up your little marshmallow weights. Trying to look up cool and buff for the ladies. You guys gotta get them purple fire emojis going fast. And if you don't have access to fire emojis, then give us the purple heart ones. We'll tell you like that, because Twitch likes to lock away certain dings. A ring-a-ding-ding. A ding-ding-ding-ding-ding-ding-ding. Whew. I actually am very happy to have all this webbing to kind of mess with here and there. But let's move on to our next subject, right? The next thing I want to talk about is it's something quite interesting, right? Let's take a moment to well, to put it quite bluntly, right? Have you guys ever heard of something called sliced mayo? Now, ladies and gentlemen, I cannot make this up if I could. There is a thing called sliced mayonnaise. I Googled it earlier, and it disturbs me. Deeply disturbs me, man. It's worse than deep fried mayo. Because at least, like, deep fried mayo, right? At least that makes fucking sense. It's a carny food, you know, you throw it in the batter, you throw it in the fryer, and you have a shitty little mayo nugget, right? But this sliced mayo is like, it's like actual fresh mozzarella. It's like actual fresh mozzarella, a bowl of that. Slimy looking, looks disgusting. It looks disgusting. Who the fuck looked at mayonnaise? Oh, sorry. Who the fuck looked at mayonnaise and said, yes, we need sliced motherfucking mayonnaise? Probably the same idiot that decided, hey, let's take away the fun of making homemade confetti and just sell you pre-made confetti. Though, let's be honest, it's not as time-consuming to use pre-made. But still, it's a lot funner to make your own and pull out the paper shredder and do it, you know? I feel like that's got to be a fun job, to be like a confetti maker. You just kind of feed paper through the shredder and just watch the shredder do its job. It's fun. It's real fun. Something you gotta imagine, right? You gotta have some fun with a job like that, because otherwise it could just get boring, right? It'd just be a boring job at the end of the day, right? That being said, yeah, that whole sliced mayo thing is just kind of ridiculous, right? And it kind of acts as a bridge, so to speak, of the next thing I want to talk about. And no, it's not reminding you guys that we have active TTS and that it's super cheap to use, and the link to find it is pretty easy to get. It's more so, well, look, life is not easy, and it is a huge torrent sometimes. Sometimes, right? Sometimes for us to evolve as a species, we must learn to enjoy our lives more, right? Learn to enjoy our lives more. And sometimes I wonder, you know, if everyone's happy in this world. And I have to remind myself that no, not everyone is. But you know what I could do? Inspire you to be happy too, just like me. Because at the end of the day, it's up to us to be happy for ourselves. We can't always control our surroundings, and well, to put that bluntly, it sucks, right? It sucks having no control, but you know, it's one thing we do have control over: the smile we wear on our faces, the things we can say to each other. It is beautiful. I'm so sorry. Holy crud. Trying to get better at the whole yawning and tapping thing. I don't know why, but for some reason, just a reflex thing. That being said, next subject, right? Let's move on to the next subject. Next thing I want to talk about here, because I want to talk about a few more things here. You know, a lot of people talk about this new age brain rot, right? The brain rot memes. My friend, they are real. Dun 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 dun, Sahur is real. And to put it in a phrase the youth might understand. Partner, that ain't very skibbity, shivvy, or good. Look, okay, brain rot has always been around, right? There's been the fucking, in like the 80s, you had the troll doll fucking things with the weird ass hair. That's pretty brain rotty, you know? You have these fucking weird ass dolls and weird ass fucking hair. Then you get to like the 90s and you get to like, I mean, really, there's more than one brain rotty thing back in the 90s. You had Polly Pockets, you had your Neopets, your Tamagotchis and shit like that. Then the 2000s, you had more Polly Pockets, Tamagotchis, Digimons, you had card games. A form of brain rot has always been around in the universe. It always has. You know what I'm saying? It always has. But you know what that takes sometimes? Well, it takes the same type of thing that it takes to kind of stop doing so many dabs, right? Especially if you're trying to slow it down. It takes discipline. You gotta be able to take the proverbial hat off. Or in the case of memes, the phone, or in the case of smoking, the dab rig, you just kind of have to set it down and learn to have it there but not smoke it. To have access to it but not need to use it. Okay? It has to act like a light, you know what I'm saying? Like my hat right here, right? With all these lights, like a landing strip. You have to look at cannabis and things that you enjoy as a light. You don't want to overuse the light. You don't want to stare at the light all day and burn your retinas. But you want to enjoy the light because how pretty it is. Sometimes that light flashes, sometimes it's solid, and that's okay. All you have to do is just remember sometimes to pull that proverbial hat off and let the lights rest. Now, something I get asked a lot in these streams is, have I stopped smoking? Because I'm not doing it during these streams, right? Not really, no. I haven't really stopped, per se. I've just gotten more responsible with it. I've grown the fuck up. Made some changes. Lived my life, you know? Because why the fuck not? That being said, just a little reminder, ladies and gentlemen. TTS is active, and it's extremely cheap, and the way to find the link to TTS is super easy, super simple, super chill. Finding it in chat or within the YouTube. Whoa, what? We got Dirt Ripe Raid going! Dirt Ripe! I hope I said it right. I'm horrible at reading sometimes. Some of my friends think I may actually be dyslexic. That's something to think about, right? The possibility that it could be that. I don't think I am, but maybe I am, right? Maybe, I don't know. You know, I'm no doctor. I'm no motherfucking doctor, right? But, I do my best, you know? It's a trippy raid, baby! That's what it is. What the fuck? Why can I not read right sometimes? My bad. It's a trippy raid, man. That, sometimes, trippy, as your name entails, sometimes you be tripping, and that you in this sense would be me, because I'm tripping, can't even read folks shit. But trippy, what's going on, and what's going on to our brand new viewers? Welcome to Live with Lafon, where we try to have the good vibes, the good times, and nothing but that. You know what I'm saying? Typically, we try to keep away from politics, but sometimes you bring it up because some of these stories are basically ridiculous and seem like a South Park episode. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope we're all doing good right now. So something I want to remind chat right now is we currently have a war going on with our chat. We are live currently both on YouTube and on Twitch. So this is how you're going to partake in the war. Those of you in the chat are going to comment the fire emoji, the appropriate colored fire emoji for where you're at. Regular fire for the YouTube people, purple for the Twitch people. We're trying to see. Sorry, buddy, I didn't mean to smack your back right there, bud. You good, buddy? Good buddy, good buddy. But we're trying to see, right, who has the most spirit? Who is the stronger chat group? Is it the Twitchians? The Twitchy? The twitching away? Ugh. Or is it the YouTubes? The YouTubes dudes that do the things, you know, because they do the things because they do the thing. That's what they do. That's the YouTubes people. The YouTubes people knows what they doing because they're the YouTubes people. It's YouTubes, all right? It's YouTubes. That being said, something I do want to say is earlier I brought up memes, right? I brought up, brain rot, right? Some of you guys might say, how do you avoid that shit, right? I just do. I'm not horror farming either, I just do. I don't go actively searching it, and, I partake a little bit in it. Like, I'm not an idiot. I know what certain memes are. I don't understand the shark and the Nikes, but I do know about tun sahur. And then I also, I know Duck Explains. That's a pretty good one, actually. It's been a pretty good meme to keep an eye out on. It's like a whole series. I'm telling you, man, not all of it's pure brain rot, but there's a lot of brain rot out there. A lot of brain rot. And so I tend to try and stay away from that, because at the end of the day, you've got to treat your brain like a temple. Like a Jedi temple, right? And if you waste your time on shitty stuff that does nothing for you, that temple is going to look like shit. Now, I should not be the one to go shit-talking. I watch SML, Super Mario Logan, I watch him, for Pete's sake, I watch Jeffy and all that shit and laugh my ass off and turn my brain off. So, maybe I'm not the guy to pass fucking judgment. But you know what I am trying to do? I'm trying to entertain you. Keep y'all happy and smiling and strong. Because, ladies and gentlemen, life is too short to waste our time crying and being little bitches, okay? Let's not be little bitches. Too many of them already. Too many. So, ladies and gentlemen, I guess there's so much to talk about, right? There's a lot to talk about tonight. There's a lot of stuff that's happened in recent times. A lot of stuff didn't happen till literally just before stream. Like, just fucking before stream. So I ended up learning about a lot of this stuff just beforehand. You know what? So, since we're kind of sitting here kind of thinking about the next thing to do, why don't I do a little bit of karaoke, right? I'm gonna pull up some lyrics on my phone. We're gonna do a little karaoke. But before I do, first off, let me remind you guys that TTS is active. Secondly, let's start a second side war. There's a side quest going on in chat. Right now, currently, you guys, throughout the stream, should be continuing to comment in the chat fire emojis. The regular one if you're on YouTube, the purple one if you're on Twitch. Now we're gonna get a side quest kind of war going. Ready? Here you go. What's better, cats or dogs? Let's see it, ladies and gentlemen. You're either going to comment a dog emoji or a cat emoji for whatever you like more. So, there's a war that separates the two chats and a war that'll unify the two chats in some ways. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't get the metaphor behind this exercise, or the blatant realization I'm putting in your face, think about it. Think about it. A war that separates the chat and a second war, a side war, that somehow unites the chats. Think about it. Look at world history. You know what I'm saying? No joke, no joke. But we're going to start a side war here. Cats or dogs? Tell us using the emojis for each animal in chat. That being said, all right, let's get on to doing some music, right? I want to cover some songs, and I'll probably stand for this so I can do a little bit of pacing a little bit, get some blood flow going. It is a beautiful evening tonight, don't get me wrong, but it's also a beautiful kind of night where the mood is just perfect to be relaxed, chilled out, and doing good things, you know. So, ladies and gentlemen, what is it that you think we should sing? Right now, I'm thinking we'll probably do Jason Mraz's I'm Yours to start. And then maybe I'll have one of my buddies pick someone's suggestion in chat to try. And if I don't know the song, right, what I'll do is I'll sing how I think it should sound, just to give it a shot. Going into Google, right, to type in for the lyrics, right, I have this thing, right, where it tells me the trending searches and what's kind of going on currently when I do a search. Pennsylvania's having 911 outages? What? That's a thing? That's a fucking thing? Like, I know you can lose power, right? And then the call center might lose power. But typically these call centers have like an emergency backup generator. And I mean, it's fucking Pennsylvania. So it's likely they have some sort of wind turbine or a fucking solar power panel on there. I'm just left confused. Because who the fuck do you call in a 911 outage if you break your fucking leg on a mountain? Who do you call when there's a guy that breaks into your house with a squirt gun? We'll say squirt gun for censorship purposes. A high-powered, high-capacity squirt gun. Who the fuck are you supposed to call? Really, Pennsylvania? Really? I hope that's just like some AI-generated news bullshit that's taking off and it's just in the fucking Google suggested because of it, but that's actually kind of a good question. Who do you call when 911 wasn't available? All right, let's look up Jason Mraz's I'm Yours lyrics. Enough looking at these headlines, because some of them really do sound ridiculous. There's a lot of disasters happening, apparently. Apparently, right? Jason Mraz, I'm Yours. Lyrics, ladies and gentlemen, are we ready? As I said, I am going to stand and kind of pace as I sing for a moment. Well, not pace, but I'm just going to stand for while I sing to kind of help me out, get some blood flow to them legs. We're going to move him just for now. Move our little buddy, just so I can sing a little better, okay? Much better. Y'all ready for this? Well, you done me out of bed, I felt it. I tried to beat you, but you so hot that I melted. I fell right through the cracks, and now I'm trying to give back. before the cool done run out of me, giving me my bestest. And nothing's gonna stop me but divine intervention. I reckon it's again my turn to live some man, learn some, but I won't hesitate no more, no more. It cannot wait. I'm yours. Well, open up your mind and see like me. Well, open up your plans and damn, you're free. Look into your heart and you'll find love, 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 love. Listen to the music of the moment, people danced and sing. We're just one big family, and it's our God-forsaken right to be loved. Love, 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 loved. So I won't hesitate no more, no more. This cannot wait. I'm sure there's no need. I'm sure there's no need to complicate how our time is short. This is our fate and I'm yours. Ah. Skada-ba-do-ba-da-ba-da-bo. Do-do-do-do-do. Ooh, ooh. You wanna come on in and scooch a little closer, dear, and I will nibble your ear. Ooh, should I ba-da-ba-da-bo? Whoa, 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 whoa. Well, I've been spending way too long checking my tongue in the mirror and bending over backwards just to try and see it clearer, but my breath fogged up the glass. So I drew in a face and I laughed. I guess what I am saying is there is no better reason to rid yourself of vanities and just go with the seasons. It's what we aim to do. Our name is our virtue, but I won't hesitate no more, no more. This cannot wait. I'm yours. Well, I open up your mind and see like me. Well, open up your plans and damn, you're free. And look into your heart and you'll find the sky's yours. So please don't, please don't, please don't. There's no need to complicate, 'cause our time is short. Oh, this is our fate. I'm yours. Skada-ba-doo-ba-da-ba-dum-ba-da-bum. Ru-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Oh, hey, hey, oh, you know I'm yours, I'm yours. Good old classic, man. And for those of you wondering what I do know and, why I know the song, my theater class, I adjust my belt line here. My theater class, not my theater class, my guitar class, needed someone to sing the song for a concert, and so I learned it. Had a good time with it. Clearly I'm rusty as fuck. That being said, reminder that we do have a bit of a side war going on right now with cats versus dogs, where you need to post your cat or dog emoji in the chat to tell us what side you are on. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, we asked you guys for suggestions, and I told one of my buddies to do me a favor and pick a random person's suggestion out from the chat. Anyone that seemed like it'd be interesting and fun, and well, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna surprise you guys with what it is. We're just gonna sing this bad boy, okay? And it's a song I haven't sung since I was a little motherfucking kid. But I'm gonna let this up real quick. Not the Ghostbusters SIG. I don't need a gun. I need the song lyrics. God damn, that's such an old classic, but okay. Ooh. Oh, yeah, this is gonna be a tough one for me. We're gonna do this. Let's stand up and do it now. Yes, I like to stand up when I sing. Helps me out a lot more than sitting, that's for sure. But it also allows me a second to readjust my line, because I've lost a lot of motherfucking
Streamlabs.
Is that a Bon Voyage? Is that rain? Yo! Stanky Froggy just gave us a beautiful raid, man. Welcome to our new viewers. This here is Live with Lafon, where we try to have ourselves a good time, good vibes, and well, we try to make everyone laugh, smile, and enjoy themselves. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, here comes song number 2 for you guys tonight. It's a song that's a classic, and some of you boomers might know exactly what it is. Some of us zoomers might know exactly what it is. And shit, some of us millennials know exactly what the fuck it is. Without further ado, grab my magic wand. Maybe have my boys ready with a second suggestion here in a bit. Let me grab my magical wand. I'm gonna use this as a microphone. Are y'all ready for this? Into something strange in your neighborhood. Who you gonna call? The Ghostbusters! Into something weird and it don't look good. Who you gonna call? The Ghostbusters! I ain't afraid of no ghost. I ain't afraid of no ghost. If you're seeing things running through your head, who you gonna call? The Ghostbusters! An invisible man sleeping in your bed, who you gonna call? The Ghostbusters! Obviously, I ain't afraid of no ghost. Ooh, I ain't afraid of no ghost. Well, if you're all alone and you pick up the phone and you call the Ghostbusters, you ain't afraid of no ghost. Why, here it likes the girls. Well, I ain't afraid of no ghost. Yeah. 'Cause who you gonna call? The Ghostbusters! If you've had a ghost of a freaky ghost, baby, you better call the Ghostbusters! Oh! Oh, hey, don't get caught all alone. 'Cause when it comes through your door, unless you just want more, I think you better call the Ghostbusters! Because, ladies and gentlemen, that right there is a beautiful, beautiful classic from way back in the 80s and the 70s. Shit our parents grew up with. Well, I mean, if you're my age, right? If you're near your 20s to 30s, you know, late 20s, early 30s, you'll remember growing up, watching that with your parents, watching that with your family. It was a great time. Maybe some of you guys grew up, had a family of your own, and maybe you share those films, right? Let me put it like this, right? I think if there are 5 films that I would share with my child, I should wait for our next suggestion here. If I had 5 crucial childhood films that I think my child would absolutely deserve to see, would have to be the original Land Before Time, because it does not treat children like they're idiots. As a matter of fact, it treats them quite smart, and actually it seems to give kids a voice, you know, like the TTS that we have, right? You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, right, is I feel like that's a very strong film to have kids watch. I also would like to show them Bolt, that old Disney film Bolt. Really good film about finding yourself and not letting things, you know, get to you for sure. And then, as we pull up the next song's lyrics,
Streamlabs.
said, I think number 3 would definitely have to be,
Heirs of Free Fatty Lightsaber.
the Free Fatty Lightsaber. What? Billy Bob? Billy Bob, you just scribbled again? We love you. We love you, my man. That being said, got our next song pulled up lyrics-wise, right? But let's get back. I got 2 more films to cover here. Well, 3 technically, right? Number 3, though, would definitely have to probably be Brother Bear. I think it has a really strong message for loving neighbor and everything. It has a really strong hype train. Because brother, we have so many subscribers coming in and channel points being spent that we have a hype train going right now, ladies and gentlemen. Keep the subscribers going, keep the channel points flowing, because that's how we keep that train going. And we just got Cal doing it, man. What's going on? Thank you, my
Stanky
friend.
Froggy donated $1. Airsoft baddie, you sexy baby boy, you look so good, I would kiss ya.
Thank you, my man. But I'm straight. But thank you, my man. That being said, number 3, it's like I said, Brother Bear. Just really good, really balanced love of nature and stuff. Number 2 has to be the 1954 Godzilla. And then number 1 would have to be Free Willy. Now, let's move on to Scatman. But first things first, before I move on to Scatman, I know a lot of you guys tend to ask me a lot of questions, right? And one question I get asked a lot is, do I believe in Bigfoot, right? Do I believe in Bigfoot? Do I think Bigfoot's real? I do. I think there's something out there. Do I think it is a humanoid hell-bent on terrorizing us or doing shit to us? No. But do I think there's a creature out there that represents Bigfoot or is almost an exact copy of Bigfoot? At least there was at one point? Yes. Yes, I do, because Bigfoot has appeared in ancient fucking civilizational text and drawings. I think it did at least at some point existed. Every myth and every legend is grounded in some form of truth of reality. You can never deny it. Just like you can't deny that we're about to do some Scatman, baby. Or at least we're gonna try our best. I ain't gonna try to talk like I can do it, but I'm gonna try my best here. I'm the Scatman. Skibba-ba-dee-ba-da-ba-da-pop. Hip-ba-ba-da-pop. Skibba-da-ba-dee-ba-da-ba-da-pop. Hip-ba-ba-dam the Scatman. Skibba-da-ba-dee-ba-da-da-pop. Hip-ba-ba-da-pop. Skibba-da-ba-dee-ba-da-da-pop. Hip-ba-ba-da-bo. Beep-ba-ba-da-pop. Ba-ba-ba-da-bo. Ba-da-ba-dee-ba-ba-ba-da-bo. Ba-ba-ba-da-bo. Ba-da-da-bee-ba-ba-ba-da-bo. Ba-ba-ba-da-bo. Ba-da-ba-dee-ba-ba-ba-da-bo. Ba-ba-ba-da-bo, ba-da-ba-dee, ba-ba-ba-da-bo, ba-ba-ba-da-bo. Everybody stutters in the other. Everybody stutters one way or another. So check out my message to you. As a matter of fact, don't let you hold back. It's the Scatman can do what you can do. Everybody's saying that the Scatman stutters, but doesn't ever stutter. He just sings. But when you don't know, I'm gonna call you right now that he stutters a scat is the same thing. Cause I'm the Scatman. Where's the Scatman? I'm the Scatman. Why should we be pleasing the politicians and heathens? Why try changing the season if they could? The state of the condition is an insult to the institution, and it only makes me crazy like my heart would. Everybody stutters one way or another, so check out my message to you. As a matter of fact, don't let nothing hold you back. If the Scatman can do it, brother, so can you. I'm the Scatman, cause big ba-ba-dee ba-ba-ba-ba-da-bo, ba-ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-dee ba-ba-ba-da-bo, ra-ba-ba-da-bo, ba-da-bee ba-ba-ba-da-bo, ba-ba-ba-da-bo, ba-da-dee ba-ba-ba-da-bo, ra-ba-ba-da-bo, skip-ba-dee ba-ba-ba-da-bo, ra-ta-ta-da-do, we gotta skip-a-dee-dee-dee ba-ba-bo, skip-a-dee-ba-da-do, da-da-dee ba-ba-ba-da-bo, skip-a-dee-ba-da-do, da-da-dee ba-ba-ba-da-bo. Keep it going. Because everybody stutters one way or another, so get my message out to you. As a matter of fact, don't be letting nothing hold you back, because if Scatman can do it, so can you. I hear y'all asking about the messes of the scat. Well, the professor that I'm calling to tell you. While you're still sleeping, the saints still weeping, because things you can call to daddy I can't do, because the chance of born, I'm a Scatman. Cause Ba-ba-ba-da-bo, ra-ba-ba-da-bo, ra-ba-ski-ba-ba-ba-da-bo, skra-ba-ba-da-bo, da-da-ba-dee-ba-ba-ba-da-bo, skibba-da-ba-da-ba-bo, da-dee-ba-ba-ba-da-bo, skra-ba-ba-da-bo, da-dee-da-da-da-da-do.
Streamers.
I'm a Scatman singing along with me. It's good. I'm on a melody. Yeah, I'm the Scatman.
Skeet diddly bop boop a doop bada boop.
There we go. Holy shit. Oh, it's a lot harder than it used to be back when I was younger. I had more capacity to me.
Stanky Froggy donated $1. I love when you sing about scat, you silly boy. It's my stage. I'll fart if I want to.
No, God. That's a freaking... Hold on, what? Transgreefer Raptor. Yes, motherfucking resubscribed. Hell yes, my friend. Oh, we appreciate the hell out of that, ladies and gentlemen. Seriously. When you guys subscribe, when you guys throw out a TTS and donate and all that crap, it helps us out immensely. It helps keep everything going and flowing and doing everything we need to do to keep the jokes keep on mowing. Oh. How we doing tonight, ladies and gentlemen? How we doing? Let me pull up another subject real quick here. Something that I've been working on for a minute. First off, ladies and gentlemen, before I continue any further, right, let me take a second here, catch my breath. And while I catch my breath, let me remind you guys that not only do we have an active TTS that helps give you guys an active voice in these streams, but we're currently running a little bit of a two-sided war, right? On one side of the war, we're trying to find out who has the most spirit between our YouTube chat and our Twitch chat. So if you're in the YouTube chat and wish to partake in this war, all you need to do is post up the fire emoji. If you're in the Twitch chat and you want to partake in this war, you post a purple fire emoji. We also have a side war going on where it's cats or dogs. And for that one, you just post an emoji of the cat going, dog. Okay. Snoop Diggity, right?
The cat with off 8 ass has just tipped $2 through Super Chat. Do you like Edward Skeletrix?
Bad touch, Bloodhound Gang. By the way, much love, my man, much love. Apparently, we do want to get one more final song in real quick here. Well, I got the air in me. Well, maybe not final one. We'll do some more in a moment, right? But for now, let me... Google, what the fuck is wrong with you? No, I do not want to use your stupid extension that works only with your fucking voice. Shut the fuck up. Let me do my fucking thing, right? Fuck, what was the damn song again? No, I done forgot. I got frustrated because of Google doing this bullshit. Bullshit, Google, man. We love you, Google, by the way. You don't pay the paychecks. Bad touch, that's right. Bad touch lyrics. Oh my, wait a minute. No way, do not tell me this is the one fucking song that I had stuck in my head. Like when I was younger, right? And I used to race around the dirt tracks and shit. And I'd have like some old Skrillex stuck in my head or something like that, man. I fuck with some of the older Skrillex stuff. I haven't listened to it in a good minute, but like, it's definitely some shit that I enjoy when it's on. Let me... I think I can remember the song and how it goes. I think. But I might be wrong. because it's been a few years. But we're gonna give it a shot, right? We're gonna give it a shot, try to sing it how we think it's gonna go. Give us another song here. Ready? Let me just get a drink. Well, now, we call this the act of mating. But there are several other important differences between human beings and animals that you should know about. 'Cause sweet baby, sex in Texas drought. Me and you don't do the kind of stuff that only Prince would sing about. So put your hands down my pants and I'll bet you that you'll feel the nuts. Yeah, I'm Slisky, yes, I'm Albert. You're getting two thumbs up, you've had enough for two. Any touch you want it rough. You're out of bounds. I want to smother it, you want it covered like a waffle hash browns. Come quicker than the FedEx, never reaching an apex. Just like Coca-Cola stock, you are inclined to make me rise in every hourly, just like daylight savings time. 'Cause you and me, baby, we ain't nothing but mammals, so let's do it like they do it on Discovery Channel. You and me, baby, we ain't nothing but mammals, so let's do it like they do it on Discovery Channel. Love the kind of clean up with the mopping bucket like we like the catacombs of Egypt. Only God knows where we suck it.
The cat with off has just tipped $2 through Super Chat. Do you like Edward
I want to be
Skeletrix?
down to you South Seas, but I got this notion in the motion of your ocean means small craft advisory. So if I capitalize in your thighs, high tide, B5, you sunk a battleship. Please turn me on, I'm Mr. Coffee with an automatic drip. So show me yours, I'll show you mine. There's tools time. You love it, you like it, you just like a doggy style, like we're both watching X-Files, 'cause you and me, baby, we ain't nothing but we ain't nothing but mammals, so let's do it like they do it on Discovery Channel. You and me, baby, we ain't nothing but mammals, so let's do it like they do it on Discovery Channel. Holy shit. That wasn't easy. Oh, holy fuck. It's good practice, though, for lungs, you know? Helps me get ready for
Anonymous
when I start taking
donated
diving
$1.
classes and shit.
Do me a favor, my mom. Add a color correction filter to her webcam in OBS, and boost that contrast up a little bit, baby. Keep it crispy.
Keep it crispy? You mean like some bacon? Edward Skriltix, right? I'll give him a listen, okay? I'll give him a listen. Not on stream, right? But we'll give him a listen, you know? We'll give him a listen. We'll give him a listen. By the way, chat, before we continue on to the next subject I want to talk about, right? Tell us, where are you watching from? We are currently running an active war between YouTube and Twitch. Where, in chat, you will fight this war by posting flame emojis appropriately
The cat
covered
with
to
off
where
has
you're at.
just tipped
I keep
$2
tapping
through
the table
Super
and trying to
Chat.
be better at that.
Do you like Edward Skeletrix?
Edward Skeletrix, is that... that name doesn't come off the top of my head, but I will give him a listen later today. It might be someone that I know, that I just don't remember the name of by heart. But, as I was saying, there's a war in chat right now. Post up your appropriately colored flame. If you're on YouTube, the normal fire. If you're on Twitch, the purple fire. We want you guys to spam the fuck out of that, and at the end of stream, we're going to try to figure out who had the most spirit. There's also a bit of a side war going on, where we're trying to dictate what's better, cats or dogs. Same thing, just post up a cat or dog emoji. Now, allow me to talk about one thing here as we keep going here. By the way, so there is one thing that I do want to ask about, right? I want to ask you guys about, meat salads, right? For those of you who don't know, I invented meat salads back in the day over on YouTube. And, if you want to know what my favorite meats are to use in a meat salad, all you gotta do is ask, right? Because I'm glad to talk about it. And the reason I bring it up is I actually got I talked about this with a buddy of mine earlier, and they kind of asked me, what is your preferred meat salad buildup, right? And so this has been honestly one of my favorite combinations I've ever had. I mixed together some moose steak, some venison burger, I mixed up some beef chunk, mixed up some chicken tenderloin, some shredded turkey, and a little bit of cut up ham and hot dogs. And then I mixed it in with some mozzarella, some American, some Colby Jack, squirted in some barbecue and a little bit of ketchup for sweetness. I'm telling you right now, it is some good motherfucking shit. It's some good, tasty shit, and you should know about it. Hell yeah. Don't you know it's tasty as fuck? Don't you know about that? Yeah, no, I'm joking, right? That being said, for those of you wondering, TTS is currently active. We got plenty of ways to see that. There's the war going on. I mean, 2 different wars going on, right? That being said, you gotta fight it and let us know where you're from. Purple flames, orange flames, and then cats or dogs. You gotta tell us, man. You gotta tell us. Something else I want to talk about here for a moment, right? Is when it comes to meat salads, cheese decision is important. Very important. I find Havarti, mozzarella, cheddar, American, Fiesta blend, and Munster tend to be really good cheeses for meat salads. I don't know why, but the Munsters, Havarti, and the mozzarella make for great base texture cheeses without adding
Ding
too
Dong
much of
has
flavor.
just tipped
with Havarti
$10 through Super Chat. We are bored of this game. Let's change games. Hey Chris Big fan.
Okay.
You're gonna be called Airsoft Slim soon. I'm a dog man. What is the most durable saber for hard sparring?
That's actually a very solid question. I'm glad someone asked. So to start with, right? You're saying hard. My belt stuck to the back. There, chair. You're saying hard sparring. Well, to start with, right? For what I like to do, let me just. These are a little further back in the thing than I thought. So what I like to typically get my hands on, firstly, is I get what's called an RGB saber. To what's RGB, right? RGB is typically it's a saber that has the light coming out from the hilt, utilizing a hollow blade. These sabers are the best for doing full contact sparring. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this on, but I'm gonna try to mute it. Hold on 1 second here. There we go. So, when you're doing this kind of saber, okay, you have a light source that comes from your blade, and you get, I guess that's a mag cycle. There we go. Gives us a little bit solid of a color, but it shoots it from the top here, and the blades are usually made of material that diffuse the light, right? But these are the kind of blades you want to use for combat sports and for contact dueling, right? And there are a plethora of different companies. So when you're saying what's the most durable brand, I found that Kyber Light makes some pretty solid ones. I find that Ultra Sabers make some cheap, quick, and easy to get your hands on. And I also find that, I'm gonna put this right here for a moment. I also find that, you also got to look at, what type of turnaround you're looking for, right? Are you looking for quick and easy and cheap? Well, then you got Ultra Sabers. $60, $70, you get yourself a custom-made stunt saber, no sound, but it's durable as shit, looks the part, and does very well. Or you go to something like Kyber Light, you drop a little extra cash, get something nice with sound, tons of different colors involved, and a super simple lightsaber system that lets you switch out your parts at will. You know what I'm saying? Now, there's another type of custom lightsaber that you can get. And I'm going to pull it up right now, actually, for a moment. But I'm not going to activate it right away. We'll probably activate this later. But this right here is what's called a NeoPixel blade, right? And a NeoPixel is different from RGB in the sense that your light source is built within the blade itself, right? Uses a bunch of lights and LEDs throughout the blade that light it up. Now I'll turn it on, but I'm gonna try to mute it, okay? Again. There, mute it. Now I'm gonna put this down for now because I don't want to excite the puppies too much. But anyhow, when you activate this lightsaber, as I stated, the light source is in the blade itself, and it gives you the ability to utilize different blade effects, right? You can have a rainbow blade, like you would see in Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga, with like the extra special lightsaber that you would get whenever you would beat the campaign and you spent a certain amount of studs. It also offers things like a electro staff setting that looks pretty sick. And I'm gonna be honest with you, right? I like the NeoPixel, but it's definitely not something I would regularly use for full contact sparring. It would be something that I would use for fun, dancing, and for light sparring, right? Whereas RGB saber, where you're looking for heavier sparring stuff, that's going to be your best option. It's going to be the cheapest to be able to fix and replace. But if you want something nice that actually feels like a lightsaber in your hands, Kyber Light's the way to go. But if you want something simple, quick turnaround, you don't mind if it's just some basic cookie cutter as long as you get to choose the color, Ultra Sabers is cheap. Like $80 total max these days. It used to be like 50 you could get one, but nowadays I think it's like $60 max minimum you gotta spend, something like that. But Ultra Sabers tends to be the cheaper of the companies, for sure. But, you know, it really is kind of up to you and what you're looking for, right? It's up to you what you're looking for. Are you, again, like I said, are you looking for a cheap, easy to replace saber with a fast turnaround? Are you looking for a saber that you don't mind waiting a few weeks for, that's actually nice, you know? But as for my opinion, as to what kind of saber to get, RGB is the way to go. Now, where did I put the cap for this? Right there. Easy to lose that, you know? Alright. Do I have any more subjects that I wrote down that I meant to talk about that I've glossed over? No, I don't think I did. I think we've had a beautiful evening so far, ladies and gentlemen. That being said, let's continue onward, because I gotta ask you guys something, right? Do you guys have a favorite kind of pasta you like to cook with? Because for me, I actually do. I have a top 5 pasta shapes that I like to work with list, right? Top 5. And I'm gonna give it to you right now, ready? Number 5 is rotoni. That stuff is delicious. The shape gives a texture to your pasta that feels a little bit more filling than you usually bet. Number 4 has to be spaghetti noodle. Stuff is a classic. Basic shit, but great nevertheless. Number 3, it's gotta be the classic alphabet noodles. It's classic, what can I say? Number 2, that's a tough one, but I'm gonna have to go with the spiral noodles, but they're more like a elbow noodle that was stretched out and made into a spiral. Those are good. Actually, no. Number 2, shell noodles. Number 1 has to go to bow tie noodles. Yeah, I know, low key. You guys almost never see me fuck with bow tie noodles just because I never get them. Just because it's not as easy to find these days. Back in the day, you used to be able to get them a lot, but I love bow tie noodles. They're amazing, man. By the way, guys, let me ask you guys this. Have you guys ever heard of Chihuahua cheese or Cholula cheese, or however you say it? Because, to be honest with you, right, I've learned about it recently, and I'm not exactly the most impressed by it, you know? It's not exactly the craziest of item to find in your fridge, you know? That being said, ladies and gentlemen, we have with us here a guest, a friend, who comes to us from a land far, far away. No, this is not a Shrek movie. This is a real-life moment, my friends. This here is Mandalorian. He has brought his Baby Yoda with us. But obviously you can't bring little green men. So he had to bring dogs with him. He had to transform Baby Yoda into puppies. And somehow it turned into 2 puppies because there's so many cuteness to him. So much of a cuteness level. That being said, Mando, what is your favorite meat? Okay. Well, this guy seems interesting. A man of few words, I respect it. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. A person with true skill, or, is someone who's truly wise, they don't typically speak too much. They usually let their actions and shit do the talking for them, right? See, like we have this here, our mini Yoda, which we'll call Rico. I'm actually surprised he doesn't get faded out by the green screen. But hey, buddy, how you doing, bud? Good to see you, buddy. How you doing? Hey, how we doing? How we doing? How we doing, huh? How we doing? You look like Yoda. You look like Yoda. Look at you. Look at his ears, guys. He looks like Yoda. Hold on. Come on, look this way. Come on. Look up here. Look up here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Look this way. No, don't go that way, motherfucker. Ah, Yoda. Yeah, I can't get him to look this way. Well, now he's looking towards you guys, but do you see he has the Yoda ears? It's kind of cute. It's kind of adorable. It's kind of crazy, right? Let's see, can he see red and blue? I forget, can dogs see red and blue? I know they said Bluey has like a color scheme that they use that's like specifically for dogs, but like, I wonder, can dogs see red and blue? Can you, buddy? Huh? Is that why you're trying to like eat my hat? Oh, hey. Hey. Partner, hey. Hey, what are you doing, partner? Hey, that's my ear. Hey, that's not a treat, that's my ear. That's my ear, buddy. Hey, Rico, hey, come here. Hugs, not bites. Hugs, not bites. Hey, love you, buddy. Come on, be good. Be good, okay? Be good. Be good. He's trying to take the hat. Hey, Rico. Hey. Woo, I got you, bud. I got you. Woo. Here you go. You ready? Here. Woo. You good, buddy? Okay. Woo. We almost lost him. Oh. Here. How about you go with our friend here? Woo. Ready, bud? Woo. He's been getting heavier and heavier by the week. I tell ya. That's in a good way. Why does it feel like something's around my neck? Oh, my hat. I completely forgot I had the hat on. That was a happy little interruption, as Bob Ross would probably put it. I don't know, how would he put that? Happy little accident, happy little interruption. What does chat think, right? What do you guys think Bob Ross would call that little interruption, right? That being said, chat, I'd like to ask you guys a little something that, I've always wondered, right? Do you guys have a favorite Star Wars ship? Because for me, there are so many options. First off, the Z-96 Headhunter is probably one of the most sleekest, baddest ships around. The Millennium Falcon is just an all-around great little home on wheels, and I mean, come on, those Jedi Starfighters from the Republic days? Oh, you cannot tell me those were not clean. Especially Anakin's in that gray and yellow. Oh, that was fucking clean. Clean. You know what I'm saying? It was clean. Can't lie. I think if I had a starfighter, probably had to be a Jedi Starfighter. It just looks too clean. And those heavy twin turbo cannons, beautiful. It's like a cake on top of a cake, you know? I've always wondered what it would be like, and maybe, those of you who utilize TTS can make your voice heard on this, right? But I've always wondered what it would be like to make a layered cake where you layer it as different kinds of cake, right? So maybe layer 1 is like a nice chocolate lava cake, right? Layer 2 is like a carrot cake. Layer 3 is like a velvet cake. Layer 4 is like a marble cake. Maybe layer 5 is an ice cream cake. But like imagine a 5-layer cake where every layer is like a different layer of cake. Do they have that? Is that a thing? Maybe I'm just being a fat fuck right now, right? And maybe that's something, right? I'm just being a fat fuck, you know, whatever. Shouldn't be talking about cake trying to lose weight, but at the same time, you can't help it but occasionally have... I mean, that's pretty close to it, I guess. But no, it's just occasionally, right? You gotta have a fat boy thought, you know? Yeah, bud? Yeah, buddy? Thanks for letting us know about the light almost falling, buddy. He's like Old Yellow or Lassie. Tells us of impending disasters. So, chat. Today has been a lovely day, you know? I stepped outside earlier, and I thought to myself, you know, it's a beautiful day. The clouds are out, the sun is shining, and, well, you couldn't ask for a whole lot more, you know? Sometimes in this world we wake up and the world seems a lot gloomier than it is, and we just need that nice bright morning to help us out.
Ding Dong has just tipped $5 through Super Chat. Time for 5 squats. He'll go get an RGB. Thank you, Bretta Man. You are an American hero / icon. Sorry I deleted my Super Chat, Big G.
You're good, brother. It's much love, man. Yo, hopefully you enjoy the saber you get. If you want, like, the best, cheapest option, the Initiate V2s from Ultra Sabers are really cheap, really nice sabers. They're great one-handers for damn sure. Why do I keep taking this off? I do that a lot when I have hats. I struggle to keep them on, you know? I always end up pulling them off, putting them back on. I don't even know what it is, you know? It just happens, you know what I'm saying? That being said, chat, let's get an update on that war real quick that we got going on between YouTube and Twitch. Who's gonna give us the most spirit? Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to show us that spirit in chat, you use the appropriately colored flame for where you're at. If you're on YouTube, we post the normal orange and red flame. If you're on Twitch, we post the purple flame. We're trying to see who here has the most spirit, because by the end of stream, we're going to be looking back and seeing who here we see more of. Yesterday, YouTube mopped the floor with Twitch, which is surprising, you know. Currently, right now, when it comes to our numbers, right? When it comes to what the armies are looking like. And Mando, tell me, what do you think? It's gotta be YouTube. We've been seeing a lot of those orange red flames, man. And Twitch, I'm gonna be honest, if you don't want YouTube to win, you just gotta throw them flames in the chat, man. Purple fire, baby. Purple fire. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, I say that a lot. That being said type shit. I want to start a third battle going on in chat, right? One more, and that'll be our 3 for the day. The only two that are gonna go, the only one that's really gonna count is the fire, right? The flame emojis are what are gonna really count. But I do want to know: would you guys rather be a Jedi, Sith, or would you rather be a wizard, right? A Jedi or a Sith, or be a wizard from like Harry Potter, right? What would you rather? I'm gonna be honest. Give me magic. You can just do more with magic, and I hate to admit it, but it's true. I love Star Wars, but if you're giving me real life powers, much rather would just keep a textbook of different spells on hand to just use. Who cares? Who cares when I have a spell that I could just sneeze in your direction in a certain way and you get exploded into a pile of locust. It's not common. You know what else isn't common, right? You know what else isn't common? Is finding yourself in the ocean in a position where you're alone and you're reflecting on life. That's rare. I guess more so it's the alone and reflecting on life part, right? The ocean part isn't as important. But what is the reflecting on life part. Have you guys ever found yourself in that position? Because I do every so often. And I like these moments because they remind me that I'm human. And they remind me that life is amazing, no matter what. Now, first off, right? Why is life amazing? I'll tell you why. Because people like you guys who are watching right now can make your voices heard utilizing our TTS system, number one. And number two, right? Life is amazing because we have opportunities to make mistakes. And when we make those mistakes, we can change, right? Speaking, of course, to a certain power couple named Ian and Anissa, the iDubbbz couple, right? Sometimes, right, we have to make mistakes to learn a few lessons. And when you learn these lessons, it's all in a hope that you better yourself and you come out a better person on the other side. Does that always happen? No. Who knows? But you know, that's supposed to be what life is. It's a never-ending lesson or lecture that a teacher's giving us, and we just kind of have to sit through it. But it's up to us to sit through it with fun and style. You see, when it comes to the lecture of life, I'm that student sat in the back row, chilling with an earbud in his ear. He's got his phone out. He's got a bunch of emulators on his phone. He's playing some fucking N64 Tony Hawk, or maybe he's, you know, playing some Nintendo DS type of shit. Either way, I'm the guy in the background that's just trying to enjoy life a bit. You know, I'll listen to the lecture, take my lessons when I need them, but I'm not going to stay scared my whole life. You can't live scared. Because when you live scared, that's when you become a pussyback, baby-back bitch. And no one wants to be a pussyback, baby-back bitch, okay? Because when you're a pussyback, baby-back bitch, you might as well throw some barbecue up in that bitch and be a pussyback, baby-back barbecue bitch, okay? Don't be no pussyback, baby-back barbecue bitch, okay? That's not fun. Okay? Don't be a PB, BB, BB. A PB times 5. Okay? Don't be that. Okay? It's not fun. Don't be a pussy ass, basic ass bitch. Now I forgot the saying, damn it. Thanks a lot, guys. I love you guys, but damn do I forget the saying sometimes.
It's intermission time, folks. So hurry. Step right over to our refreshment center for the most extravagant array of refreshment goodies ever assembled under one roof.
All of my successes depend on me. I'm the man who has the ball. I'm the man who can throw it faster than fuck. So that is why I am better than everyone in the world. Kiss my ass and suck my dick. Everyone, you've reached the end of set number 3.
What?
I'm walking here. You're fucking out. I'm fucking in.
Walking? I play real sports. I'm not trying to be the best at exercising.
I'm Airsoft fucking Fatty, and I'm very upset with how I'm acting right now. Well, shit, man.
The store will be closing in 5 minutes.
You're listening to the audiobook, You're Fucking Out, I'm Fucking In, by Kenny Powers. Narrated by Kenny Powers.
A lot of people ask me, Kenny Powers, you're a giant star. You get any woman. Have you ever paid for sex? And
the answer is yes, I have. Several times, in fact. And it's actually kind of cool. You can negotiate practically anything, and sometimes even just kind of do stuff in the moment that you never agreed to pay for, and it goes by without much argument. You want to know about relationships?
American made, white, 9mm reinforced glass, lifetime warranty, and I threw it off a goddamn bridge and it fucking bounced! Max speaker, 18-inch glass. Speaker. Yeah, Max 18-inch.
We're sorry. All of our representatives are still assisting other customers. Please remain on the line, as we value your call.
To the fullest. Today, we live happy lives. Today, we duel to defend our home. Whoa! Oh, we must defend our homes and our friends and our partners. Our little old mamas. You will not. You will not take it from me. You will not do it. Not today. You must learn, my friend, that trying to take something that doesn't belong to you, like a dear friend like my own here on my neck, is not to end well. It won't end well for you. It will never end well. Learn your lesson. Learn it quick. Because life is too short to spend it on the dark side. Shite. No. You guys won't win. I won't let you take. Oh shit! My saber went down, but I refuse to die. Not like this. Not like this. Of course, my saber goes down. Ladies and gentlemen, I will protect my little friend with my life, because that is what Jedi do. You really think with 2 blades you can defeat me? With 3, okay, maybe 3 is a bit much, but I will figure it out. You got me in the gut, but I won't let you win. I won't. I won't let them take him from me. This is my buddy, my friend. And I will defend him like anyone would, like any good Jedi. Because the Jedi Code, it means to defend those who you care about. Protect the ones you love. Love your friends. Why did that make me burp? Asshole, get back here with my baby! You motherfucker!
It's intermission time, folks. So hurry, hurry, hurry. Step right over to our refreshment center for the most extravagant array of refreshment goodies ever assembled under one roof.
Give me something else! Give me something else, yeah.
Strike two!
God damn it! The lucky fucking bat! The lucky fucking bat! Now!
It's not even a bat, but okay.
It's alright!
我有几个球真的打得不错。
这个球飞到的是在左外野方向。This ball is long gone, just like the ex-girlfriend who will never return. Home run!
That's stained glass. Can your bong do that? Gentlemen, what's going on? It's your boy coming at you from the studio, and I wanted to talk to you guys for a second. You see, have you ever been left wondering what you should get for someone special in your life? Maybe you want a special treat, but you don't know what it is. Or maybe you want to replace that old answer machine. Or hey, you know what? This might even be stretching it, but maybe you're a business person looking for an ad or someone to do a production tag for you. Well, look no further than my Cameo, where I do all of that and then some. So what are you waiting for? Check out my Cameo today. They make amazing gifts, amazing little personal treats, and hey, if you happen to need some motivation, I can help you get off your ass. That being said, what are you waiting for? Check it out today. Ladies and gentlemen, how are we doing? Welcome to tonight's recap. Let's talk about for a moment some of the things we've learned today. Some stuff that we can walk away with new knowledge and hopefully a newfound understanding with things. To start with, we've learned that your boy Fatty has had a chance to try a couple of different types of meats that you wouldn't otherwise expect, right? Moose meats are definitely something you would not expect to have eaten. I've also had a little bit of bear. Back in the day when I was younger, I had some bear meat. I had a little bit of boar. I've had some fucking what's it called? What the fuck is that bird called? It's not it's a bird that's eaten, but it's like half the size of an ostrich, maybe. I can't remember the name of it. It's not a turkey. It's not a fucking turkey. Before anyone sits there and says, that's a fucking turkey. It's not a turkey, man. Either way, you also learned a little bit more about myself, and, well, that's always a good thing as someone who views me. And some of the stuff that we didn't learn, For starters, we didn't learn how to build a car just yet. I still want to learn how to do that eventually, is to build a car from the ground up. You know, do like that Johnny Cash song, I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Or like that one song, I built it one piece at a time, and it didn't cost me a dime. You know it's me when I come through your town. God damn, I haven't listened to that one in a good minute. That's a classic right there, ladies and gentlemen. I tell you, ain't nothing more cooler than some Johnny Cash. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, something that I do hope to learn in the future, and maybe we'll try to do this on stream one of these days, I kind of want to learn how to make, like, silicone mold type stuff, and then part of me wants to make, like, swords and silicone, just random silicone tchotchkes, right? Make a silicone Death Star that I can just bounce off a wall. Make a fucking little silicone lightsaber set for when I'm just kind of sitting around doing nothing. Or maybe like a silicone fucking nuclear bomb or something. I don't know. I want to have silicone just random tchotchke, like nerdy Star Wars weapons, weird weapons nerd type stuff, things like that, right? I like doing weird things. I'm still kind of interested in getting my hands on a nice model kit to mess with just in my own time. I've been doing little tiny Lego sets lately, just having some fun with it. I've got a burger joint made. I made a pizza joint. It's a burger and a chicken joint. I've also done a miniature of a fire truck, two dinosaurs. One dinosaur I lost a part to, so I had to make it into an alien dinosaur. And yeah, we're getting lost in a tangent, aren't we? That being said, before we go any further, I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in and enjoying today's stream so far. And before we go any further, you know what's one thing that I did learn about myself that I didn't know? I found that, I enjoy these type of shows a lot. Where we sit down and we just talk for a little bit, shoot the shit, ramble, do our thing. I've come to find that I really enjoy these moments with you guys. Now, that being said, as we do nightly, we do our best to help make our minds a little sharper by reading 5 pages from a random book. For the next couple of weeks, we'll be doing the George Lucas original Star Wars novel. If you guys are wondering what that looks like, here it is. It is the original novelization of the movie. And basically, we choose a starting point, a random starting point, and then we read 5 random pages. Well, not 5 random, right? We just choose from that starting point and read those 5 pages, but you know what I'm saying, right? So without further ado, to help us kind of unwind and enjoy our time, I'm going to read us 5 beautiful pages from Star Wars by George Lucas. That being said, we're going to start at a random point in the book. I'm just going to kind of flip note through it. By the way, if you ever listened to someone do this before, listen. I don't know what it is, but there's something about that soft sound of the flicker of a page that just, it's like ASMR to me. So I just wanted to share that with you for a moment. That being said, random page, here we go. Random starting point, let's go with page number, oh damn it. Lost the page. 85. We'll do 85. Page number 85, starting from there. We'll do 5 pages starting at 85. I hope my movement with the mic doesn't get picked up too often. I have a hard time holding mics like this super easily. I find that this position right here is pretty solid. That being said, starting for page 85 of Star Wars by George Lucas. Let's angle over that way anyhow. Someone may be in trouble. Luke turned the speeder. Before long, the rising wisp of smoke that Kenobi had somehow detected earlier became visible to him. Also, topping a slight rise of the speeder, dropped down a gentle slope into a broad, shallow canyon that was filled with twisted, burned slopes. Some of them inorganic, some not. Dead in the center of this carnage and looking like a beached metal whale lay a shattered hulk of a Jawa sandcrawler. Luke brought the speeder to a halt. Kenobi followed him onto the sand, and together they began to examine the disastrous destruction. Several slight aspirations in the sand caught Luke's attention. Walking a little faster, he came up next to them and studied them for a moment before calling back to Kenobi. "Looks like the sand people did it." "All right. Here's bantha tracks." Luke noticed a gleam of metal half buried in the sand. "And there's a piece of one of those big double axes of theirs." He shook his head. "Something this big," he leaned back, staring up at the towering, burned-out hulk of a sandcrawler. Kenobi had passed him. He was examining the broad, huge footprints in the sand. "They didn't," he declared casually, "but they intended that we, and anyone else who might happen onto this, should think so." Luke moved up alongside him. "I don't understand, sir. Look at these tracks carefully." The older man directed him, pointing down at the nearest and then up at the others. "Notice anything funny about them?" Luke shook his head. "Whoever left them was riding banthas side by side. Some people always ride one bantha behind another, single file, to hide their strength from any distant observers." Leaving Luke agape at the parallel sets of tracks, Kenobi turned his attention to the sandcrawler. He pointed out... Let me sit back a little bit here. He pointed out where a single weapon burst had blasted away portals, treads, and support beams. Look at the precision at which the firepower was applied. Sand people aren't this accurate. In fact, no one on Tatooine fires and destroys with this kind of efficiency. Turning, he examined the horizon. One of those nearby bluffs concealed a secret and a threat. Those nearby bluffs concealed a secret and a threat. Only Imperial troops would mount an attack on a sandcrawler with this kind of cold accuracy. Luke had walked over to one of the small, crumpled bodies and kicked it over onto its back. His face scrawled up in disdain as he saw what remained of the pitiful creature. "These are the same Jawas who saw Uncle Owen and me, R2 and 3PO. I recognize this one's cloak design. Why would Imperial troops be slaughtering Jawas and sand people? They must have killed some raiders to get those banthas." His mind whirled furiously, and he found himself growing unnaturally tense. Quit tapping your hat, damn it. Quit tapping your hat. Try to sit up a little more, buddy. Come on. Tense as he stared back at the land speeder, past the rapidly distorting corpse of the Jawas. But if they tracked the droids to the Jawas, then they had to learn first who they sold them to. That would lead them back to... Luke was sprinting insanely for the land speeder. Luke, wait! Luke! Wait! Kenobi called. "It's too dangerous. You'd never." Luke heard nothing except the roaring of his ears, felt nothing save the burning of his heart. As he jumped into the speeder and was throwing the accelerator full over almost simultaneously in an explosion of sand and gravel, he left Kenobi and the two robots standing alone amidst the smoldering bodies, framed by the still smoking wreck of the sandcrawler. The smoke that Luke saw as they drew near the homestead was a different consistency from that which had boiled out of the Jawa machine. He barely remembered to shut down the land speeder's engine as he popped open the cockpilot pit and threw himself out. Dark smoke was drifting steadily from the holes in the ground. Those holes had been his home, the only one he had ever known. They might as well have been throats of small volcanoes now. Again and again he tried to penetrate the surface entrance to the below-ground complex. Again and again, still intense, he drove him back, coughing and choking. Weakly, he found himself stumbling clear, his eyes watering not entirely from the smoke. Half blinded, he staggered over to the exterior entrance to the garage. It too was burning, but perhaps they managed to escape in the other land speeder. Odd Baru, Uncle Ben! It was difficult to make out much of anything through the eye-stinging haze. Two smoking shapes showed down the tunnel, barely visible through the tears and haze. They almost looked like he squinted harder, wiping away angrily his unprotected eyes. No! Then he was spinning away, falling to his stomach and burying his face in the sand so he wouldn't have to look anymore. The traditional solid screen filled one wall of the vast chamber from the floor to ceiling. It showed but an impressive display nonetheless when exhibited in such fashion. Below, far below, the huge shape of Darth Vader stood, flanked on one side by the Governor Tarkin, and on the other side a private Angustimus, forgotten in the awesomeness of this moment. The final checkout is complete. Maudie informed them all. Systems are operational. He turned to the others, and when shall the first course be set? Vader appeared not to have heard as he mumbled, softly, half to himself. She has a surprising amount of control. Her resistance to the interrogation is commendable. He glanced down at Tarkin. It'll be some time before we can extract any useful information from her. I've always found the methods you recommend rather quaint, Vader. They are efficient, the Dark Lord argued softly, in interest of accelerating the procedure. However, I am open to your suggestions. Tarkin looked thoughtful. Such stubbornness can often be deterred by applying threats to something other than one involved. What do you mean? Only that I think it's time you demonstrated the full power of the station. We may do so in a fashion doubly useful. He instructed the attentive Moti, tell your programmers to set course for Alderaan's system. Kenobi's pride did not prevent him from wrapping an old scarf over the nose and mouth to filter out the portion of the bonfire's drifting putrid odor. Through possessed of olfactory sensory apparatus, R2-D2 and 3PO had no need of such screen. Even 3PO, who was equipped to discriminate amongst aromatic aesthetics, could be artificially selective when he so desired. Working together, the two droids helped Kenobi throw the last of the bodies onto the blazing pyre, then stood back and watched the dead continue to burn. Not that the desert scavengers would have been equally efficient in picking and burned out sand, crawler clean of flesh. But Kenobi retained values most modern men would have deemed archaic. He would consider no one to bone gnawers and gravel maggots, not even a filthy Jawa. At the rising thuming, Kenobi turned from the rectitude of the Noisium business to see the land speeder approaching, now traveling at a sensible pace, far different from when it had left. It slowed and hovered nearby, but showed no signs of life. Gesturing for the two robots to follow, Ben started toward the waiting craft. The canopy flipped open, and up to reveal Luke, sitting motionless in the pilot's seat. He didn't look up at Kenobi's inquiring glance. That in itself was enough to tell the old man what had happened. I share your sorrow, Luke. He finally ventured softly. There was nothing you could have done. Had you been there, you'd be dead now too. And the droids would have been in the hands of the Imperials. Not even the Force. Damn your Force! Luke snarled with sudden violence. Now he turned and glared at Kenobi. There was a set to his jaw that belonged on a much older face. I'll take you to the spaceport in Mos Eisley, Ben. I want to go with you to Alderaan. There's nothing left for me here now. His eyes turned to look out across the desert to focus on something beyond standing rock canyon walls. I want to learn to be like a Jedi like my father. I want to, he paused, the words backing up like a log jam in his throat. Kenobi slid into the cockpit and put a hand gently on the youth's shoulders and went forward to the room of the two robots. I'll do my best and see what you get what you want, Luke. For now, let's go to Mos Eisley. Luke nodded and closed the canopy. The land speeder moved away to the southeast. Leaving the speeder parked near the edge of Sandstone Bluff, Luke and Ben walked over and peered down the tiny, regularized bumps erupting from the sun-baked plain below. The half-horized collage of low-grade concrete, stone, and plastoid structures speared outward from a central power and well-water distribution plant like the spokes of a wheel. Actually, the town was considerably larger than it appeared, since a good portion of it lay underground, looking like a bomb craters from a distance. The smooth circular depressions of launch stations pockmarked the cityscape. A brisk gale was souring the tired ground and whipped up sand at Luke's feet and legs as he adjusted his protective goggles. There it is, Kenobi murmured, indicating the unimpressive collection of buildings. Mos Eisley Spaceport. The ideal place for us to lose while we seek passage off planet. Not a mere wretched collection of felony and disrupt types exist anywhere else on Tatooine. The Empire has been allergic to us, so we must be very cautious, Luke. The population of Mos Eisley should disguise us well. Luke wore a determined look. I'm ready for anything, Obi-Wan. I wonder if you comprehend what might entail, Luke. Kenobi thought, but he only nodded as he led the way back to the land speeder. Unlike Akronhead, there were enough people in Mos Eisley to require movement in the heat of day. Built from the beginning of the Comrade's mind, even the oldest of the town's building had been designed to provide protection from the twin suns. Looked primitive from the outside, and many were, but oftentimes walls and arches of solid stone, massed durasteel double walls with circulating coolant flowing freely between. Luke was maneuvering the land speeder through the town's outskirts with several tall, gleaming forms speared from nowhere and began to close a circle around him. For one panic moment, he considered gunning the engine and racing through the pedestrians and other vehicles. Stirring firmly a grip on his arm, both restrained and relaxed, he glanced over to see Kenobi smiling, warning him. So they continued at a normal town cruising speed, Luke hoping that the Imperial troops were bent on business elsewhere. No such luck. One of the troopers raised an armored hand, and Luke had no choice but to respond. There we are, ladies and gentlemen, 5 beautiful pages in. Oh, it's been a beautiful day. A beautiful, beautiful day. By the way, if I could take a moment, I want to take a moment to shout out some of our top TTSers tonight. People who have shown a lot of love and made their voices heard. So shout out, of course, to Ding Dong. Ya Ding Dong! Cat with a fat ass, and of course, Stanky Froggy. My friends, you guys are amazing. We love having you around. We love hearing that beautiful voice. And ladies and gentlemen, I just appreciate every one of you that comes and watches this. And for those of you wondering, why read at the end of this, it's to help me out, get my mental acuity better, and help inspire you guys to read a little more too. Help yourselves out a little bit. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, tonight has been an amazing stream. We've learned a lot of things, read a couple of pages, talked about a lot of stuff, and we even got photobombed by a couple of puppies. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is we've walked away having a good day and a fun time. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, before I peace out, I'd like to say one thing. Thank you. Good night. Farewell.